evening and welcome everyone to the UK Crime Book Club pub quiz. Just, of course, not in a pub. No, we are here in my living room. Well, I am. My two guests aren't, unless they're hiding. No, they're definitely not in here. There's no one in here, not even the cats. Yes, welcome again, everyone, to the quiz. Great to see you all this evening. I'm just close that window there. Joining me today, I've got two wonderful guests. First up is Caz Maston, admin extraordinaire, and now two-time participant in our quiz.
Hello.
Are you hoping that your experience is going to help you to win big here tonight?
Well, it was until you told me there was a music round.
Yeah, might have scuppered it for you. And last time out, I did do you a bit of a favour by throwing in a science fiction round last time round. There are no such.
That's not fair.
And groaning on the other side, of course, is Andrew DeBell, aka L Fraine, author of the DCI Pilgrim series. Andrew, welcome to the quiz. Pleasure to have you with us. And he's got the book there as well. How are you feeling this evening?
Yeah, a bit warm out in the office, but yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm dreading the questions, but I'm sure I'll have fun.
Excellent stuff. Well, hopefully they won't be too bad. I'll just let everyone know this month we have a theme for the quiz, as we often do to a degree. This month it's festivals to celebrate, of course, the Harrogate Crime Festival that's going to be taking place this month. So a bit of a festival theme across most of the rounds. So bear that in mind when you're answering. Of course, let's run through the rules. So this quiz, as always, is just done for a wee bit of fun. You will be writing down your answers at home as I read out the questions. There's 5 rounds of 5 questions. We'll be going through the answers at the end of each round. No shouting out your answers in the chat, please. Just write them down. And at the end of the day, you're welcome to share your scores with us if you'd like. However, our guests have to share their scores with us. There is no hiding place when you're in front of the camera's glare. Does anyone have any questions? Caz, Andrew, are we all settled in and ready to roll?
Yeah, all good.
Super stuff. We will begin, as is customary on the UKCBC pub quiz, with a book round in round 1. This is, of course, a crime book club after all, so we have to, of course, do a crime book round. So, pens and papers at the ready. Who's been paying attention to the book news this month?
Not me.
We'll soon find out. Question number 1. Which novel won a CWA Gold Dagger? Which novel won the CWA Gold Dagger? Just a quick hello to Donna and Arga and Sam in the chat there. Sam tagging a few people in. If you are in the chat, do say hello. We always love to hear from you. If you do have any questions for either of our guests, do pop them in. I will try my best to keep an eye on it as I go.
Happy to answer any questions.
I wouldn't say any questions, Andrew.
Well,
I mean, some of the questions I'll be asking.
Well, happy to answer any questions. It's just whether you like the answers or not.
Good point. Hello, Laura, as well. Right, question 1 again. Which novel won the CWA Gold Dagger? I'll take the name of the novel. If you've got the author as well, great. Just a point on offer for that one, though, guys. Question 2. Earlier this year, who was appointed the Children's Laureate? Starting with all the hard questions this month.
I can see how this quiz is going already. Yeah, me.
Yes, for the last couple of months, I've tried to make it easier. This month, I don't know if I've done that.
You haven't.
Kaz is like, nope. Question 2 again. Who was appointed Children's Laureate earlier this year? Hey, Patsy as well. Welcome to the chat. Good to have you on board. Question 1 again, for those who missed it, was which novel won the CWA Gold Dagger Award? Donna, what are you winning? You put yourself through this? I don't know. You enjoy it.
Maybe you need Donna as a guest at some point.
We're going to have to, aren't we?
You should,
yeah. Question number 3. In June this year, it was announced that George Orwell's Animal Farm would be translated into which language? It was Animal Farm, wasn't it? I've just given myself a fear there.
I'm trying to think what language would be newsworthy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, great.
There's got to be a newsworthy story for that.
Well, yes. Donna, I'm guessing you've got 3 out of 3 so far. Sam, also 3 out of 3. Glad that Caz won the coin toss to be today's entrant.
Question. Less glad about that.
Question 3 again. They were fighting over the opportunity to come and join you tonight, Andrew. Caz and Sam.
Okay.
Question 3 again was, in June this year, it was announced that George Orwell's Animal Farm would be translated into which language?
Ooh.
Question number 4. And I told you we were getting into the festival theme. Who will be a word I hate saying. Who will be curating this year's 2022 Harrogate Crime Festival as chair? So who will be curating this year's 2022 Harrogate Crime Festival as the chair?
Dear me.
My teeth always fall out when I try and say that word.
These are all subjects I know nothing.
Well, Patsy seems to be on a roll there. 4 again. Who will be curating this year's 2022 Harrogate Crime Festival as chair? Don Morfitt is pleading the 5th. And finally, hardest question of the round, this one. Which author created the DCI Pilgrim series featuring Schultz's Axe to Grind, A Tangled Web, and A Second Chance?
That's so tricky.
Oh, that's really hard.
It's always interesting this round because some people have a really good poker face and some people just go. But if you're regular viewers to the quiz will know the theme that the first round.
I'm not doing poker faces. You'll know. You'll know.
Question 5 again. Which author created the DCI Pilgrim series featuring titles such as Axe to Grind, A Tangled Web, and A Second Chance? You might have seen one of those titles earlier today on your screen.
Slight hint.
Settled in, folks? Feeling relaxed?
Yeah. I'm fully expecting to, at the moment, 1 point. We'll see.
That's how many I think I've got too.
Well, we'll see. I've got a feeling there might be 2 or 3. I think you might surprise yourselves. Maybe a couple of lucky guests in there. Should we get straight to the answer? Should we stave off any pain? Should we rip the plaster off and get straight to the answers on this round?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Question 1. What did we have as the novel that won the CWA Gold Dagger Award according to Megan? Nobody knew.
I know the author, I think.
Go on then.
But I might be wrong about that as well.
A guess is again.
Is it Ray Celestini?
It's Ray Celestini. I'm not quite sure how you pronounce his name, but it is. Yes, that is the author. And the book was
surely that's worth half a point.
We will give that half a point. Yeah, why not? Why not? The 4th book in what's the name of a series of books that he's written about LA and the jazz scene and crime and something like that.
I'm sure it will win me no extra points, but didn't he win 2 daggers? He won the historical one as well.
He did, yes, he did, because it was set in 1967. Yes, he did. Have 3/4 of a point. Right, 67. Let's go for 2/3 because the number was 67, and that is quite close to 2/3. So yeah, 2/3 of a point there, Caz. Did anyone have a punt at the Children's Laureate earlier this year?
I did, but I think I got the name wrong.
Well, we'll hear your attempt.
Julian Colo?
Oh, so close. Joseph Colo, or however it's pronounced, Coelho.
Again, I had a question mark on the
But yeah, close, very close. This one, I think perhaps maybe was where we'll start getting some correct answers.
Take a guess at this one.
Question 3. Go for your guess.
Well, do you want to repeat the question first?
That's a good idea, isn't it? In June this year, it was announced that George Orwell's Animal Farm would be translated into which language?
So I was thinking of a controversial language, and I've got 2 down. I'm going to go for Chinese.
And what was your other controversial language?
Russian.
Both would be wrong. So at least you didn't pick the wrong horse there. Caz, did you have an answer?
Yeah, mine was Russian.
No, unfortunately, no. It feels like it should be less controversial, but it's more controversial. Scots, which obviously sometimes is pictured as not being a language, but it absolutely is. Yes, Scots is the language that George Orwell's Animal Farm will be translated into, much to the joy of many Scots speakers. Question 4. Who will be curating this year's 2022 Harrogate Crime Festival? The chair as well.
No idea.
Kaz?
I've written down Denise Mina. I'm not confident.
And you can have a point. Mina is the chair this year, curating this year's 2022 festival. And finally, who created the DCI Pilgrim series? I hope they were your fingers.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, that's right. Mr. Andrew DeBell, L Fraine. And Andrew, this seems like a good chance for you to tell me all about your series and the latest book, Balance of Power, came out in February. Yeah, tell us all a little bit about it.
Yeah, sure. So this is my second series, and it was born out of wanting to write a crime series, but relate it to my own experience. So I'm from Nottinghamshire, and I moved down for a job and settled in Surrey when I met my wife there. And so I wanted to kind of mirror that. So I had a DCI kind of, from the Nottinghamshire Police, and he moves down and gets kind of transferred into Surrey. And it's a kind of like a fish out of water kind of story, just drawing on my own, observations of the differences between the North-South divide and that kind of thing, wrapped in crime stories, basically.
Yeah.
So that's that's kind of what it's all about. So yeah, there's 6 books in the series. The 6th book kind of wrapped up the story, which, as you say, came out in February. And I'm really happy with that, but I'm writing something new now, which we can talk about later if you want. So,
We'll find a chance to come across talk about that shortly. Yes, and I believe if people, am I right in thinking people sign up to your newsletter, there's a short that they can read, or was that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, yeah. So there's a free prequel, which actually serves as a prequel both to the Pilgrim books. And my new series, because the new series kind of spins off, so that the new series is set in Nottinghamshire, where my parents still live, and I have strong links to, and where I grew up. And so I wanted to write something set up there, and so it sets 5 years before the first book, and it takes place in Nottinghamshire, and so you get to meet both John Pilgrim and the character that's in the new series as well.
And it's alfraineauthor.co.uk, isn't
it?
The
Thank you, Samantha.
Oh, it's down there as well. I memorised that, honestly. I didn't. But yes, there's the link that Sam's kindly posted. So do pop on over, have a little taster if you haven't already, and then of course go out and buy all of the books available in a box set there. Do you sit and watch Sherwood? Obviously, Nottinghamshire.
Yeah, I mean that's really interesting, actually, because I came up with this idea kind of, I don't know, it was towards the start of writing these books, because the main character in my new series is called, and then I started writing a book, and I get halfway through and I suddenly see an advert for Sherwood pop up on the TV, and I'm like, oh. Which was, and I love that series. It was really, really good. I loved hearing my kind of local slang and accents on the TV, which I very rarely do, because there's something about Nottinghamshire Midlands which you don't see a lot of it. So it's great to hear that.
Indeed, you don't me duck.
Yeah.
Gordon
Bennett. What's going on here?
There was a bit of a controversy, wasn't there? Because they referred to Nottingham Forest as Notts Forest, which, if you've ever been to Nottingham, is a hanging offence, really, isn't it?
Yes, because Notts is short for Nottinghamshire, not Nottingham.
Yeah,
and
that's not
the team isn't a Nottinghamshire team; it's just the city.
Yeah.
Yes, they don't like it.
No. Whereas Notts County, obviously, is the next door neighbours and the rivals, geographically speaking, not football. I'm going down a rabbit hole there, aren't I? Yes, but no, fantastic stuff. Right, shall we move on to our second round of today's quiz? And the second round today is Harrogate, because of course it's the Harrogate Crime Festival coming up. However, the questions are all about Harrogate itself, with 5 questions on the town itself, which is great news for anyone who lives there or has been there recently. Terrible news.
Although those that have never been there,
who's never been there or know nothing about it. Niche round, but there we go. Maybe some lucky guessing in order. Who knows?
why not?
We will begin with question number 1. And we've just talked football, so this fits in nicely. Good segue. What colour do Harrogate Town of League 2 play in? Kaz, you're kind of local to Harrogate, aren't you? You're not too far away.
I live about an hour away.
Yeah, been up much? Not been to watch Harrogate Town play?
I absolutely cannot stand football.
I'm not a sports fan either, so
apologies to both of you. Question 2 again. Question 1 again. What colour did Harrogate Town play in? I have had the fortune of watching Harrogate Town when they were a non-league club. Went there for my 23rd birthday to watch them play in Nuneaton Borough, and they beat Nuneaton 3-1. And yeah, it wasn't the best. Wasn't the best. Being a Nuneaton fan. Question 2. The Spa and Baths in the centre of Harrogate take their name from which country? So which country? So which country does specialised spas and baths? You don't have to go to Harrogate maybe to have a little guess at that one. Donna's talking Luton Town there, but it was not so long ago that Luton Town were in non-league football there, Donna. I remember when 3,000 of your lot came down to Nuneaton when you were romping away with the league and beat us 5-0. I'd like to tell a Nuneaton Borough story one day that doesn't involve us getting beat, but it's not looking like today's going to be that day, is it? Question 2 again. The spa baths in the centre of Harrogate take their name from which country? So which country are the baths named after? The something baths. Question number 3. In the 2010s, Harrogate was voted the happiest place to live for how many consecutive years? So it's somewhere between 1 and 10. Well, consecutive, so it's between 2 and 10. Well, I've narrowed it down there for you kids.
Oh, 0.
Well, I can tell you it's between 2 and 10, and it's probably not 10. Just giving points away. Just giving points away.
Giving them away.
Yeah, in the 2010s, Harrogate was voted. Sorry?
You're making it too easy.
I know. Too generous. In the 2010s, Harrogate was voted the happiest place to live for how many consecutive years? And if you've been to Harrogate, I spent 6 weeks there this year working in Harrogate, and you can understand why. It's a lovely place. It's absolutely brilliant. Fully recommend people go, not just for the quiz. For the quiz. Wish we were doing it at Harrogate for the festival. But obviously just for a day trip. It's a wonderful place to go to. There's my little pitch for the Harrogate Tourism Board. Remember that next year, Harrogate, when you're booking a quiz for the Harrogate International Festival. I've already shilled for you. Question 4. And this, again, I've narrowed it down quite a lot here to 1 in 51. 50. Harrogate is twinned with another Harrogate. This one is in the United States, but in which southern state, so I've narrowed it down even further, would you find Harrogate, USA?
Okay.
Question 4 again. Harrogate is twinned with another Harrogate. This one in the US, but in which southern state would you find Harrogate, USA? And finally, multiple choice. 2 options. Giving away the points. Which essential part of the 2012 London Olympics was built in Tockwith, Harrogate? The Olympic torches or the Olympic cauldron?
Okay.
Patsy, if you've missed the questions, I'll tell you what, I'm going to pop them into the chat. Give me a second. Closed my Facebook page down, didn't I? So question 5 again for those who missed it. Which essential part of the 2012 London Olympics was built in Topcliffe, Harrogate? Was it the Olympic torches or the Olympic cauldron? And I'm just going to pop those questions in the chat for Patsy because she missed them.
Is anyone? Yes, Patsy. Is anyone on here going to Harrogate?
That was actually my next question.
Sorry.
Put it down there, Kaz. I was
Uh,
about to ask you guys: Are you going to Harrogate this year? Have you ever been to the festival?
no, I've never been. I don't plan on going this year, but I may well do at some point. Yeah.
Kaz, have you sampled it before?
Is it good?
I have been. It's quite nice. It used to be
Mm.
lovely when you could go up and just go and sit on the lawn outside the hotel and kind of with people. This is the first time I've gone since they've done kind of entry tickets.
Yeah. It's become a little bit more what's the word? Controlled, hasn't it? I think in previous years. So yes, but yeah, I'm guessing Donna's going. She's got cannot freaking wait. It looks like it's going to be an exciting year. It's the first year, obviously, where it's back to its full strength since COVID. So I think there'll be a lot of opportunity for people to get back into that spirit of it. And obviously, it's a lovely city as well, a lovely town as well to get to. Right, should we get some answers for the Harrogate round?
Let's go.
Yeah. Question number 1. Did anyone want to hazard a guess at the colour?
I guessed red.
Did you have a guess, Kaz?
I said black.
It's yellow, although they do have a bit of black in there, but it's predominantly yellow. It was I was looking for, I'm afraid. The spa baths in Harrogate, from which country do they take their name? A country famous for spa baths.
Italy?
Nope, not quite.
Was it Greece?
Keep going.
I said Turkey.
Yeah, there you go. Move further enough east, we get the Turkish baths. Which, if you are going to Harrogate, I absolutely recommend, especially if you go and have a night, a bit of a heavy night one night. Do get yourselves up to the Turkish baths in the morning. Less than £20, couple of hours in there, you'll feel right as rain. Trust me.
Yeah, I was thinking of Roman baths.
I can see where you were coming from. Yeah, I can see where you were coming from. Yeah, and the Romans and the Turks known for their famous baths. But yeah,
they went the wrong way.
Yeah, a little bit further east and you've been well away. How many years was Harrogate the happiest place in the country?
7.
Kaz?
I said 4.
You were both a little optimistic. It was only 3. Only 3. But I mean, I say only 3, like that's something to be ashamed of. 3 years have been the happiest place in the country to live.
Proving that it's still the exception for Yorkshire towns, because normally they win crap town of the year.
How do we measure that?
R4, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. Harrogate is twinned with another Harrogate, this one in the US, but which southern state would you find Harrogate, USA?
Caz?
Why do you Texas?
Louisiana, I'm guessing.
Tennessee, unfortunately. We're going to get some points in the next round, kids, trust me. And which essential part of the 2012 London Olympics was built in Topcliffe, Harrogate? Torches or cauldron?
What did you go for, Kaz?
Why are you making me answer first? Cauldron.
And I went for the torch. So one of us is right.
Oh, it was Kaz again. It was the cauldron, I'm afraid. Yes, the Olympic cauldron. Note to self, do not do themed quizzes anymore because they're always ridiculously hard. Talking about Harrogate, who's going to win the crime novel of the year this year? The big prize, obviously. Who's going to win it, guys?
Well, me, obviously.
Obviously. But I don't think you made the shortlist.
Who's on the shortlist?
So we've got Ellie Griffiths with Night Hawks, Joseph Knox with True Crime Story, Laura Shepherd-Robinson with Daughters of the Night, Mick Heron with Slough House, Vaseem Khan, Midnight at Malabar House, and Will Dean, which is my pick for The Last Thing to Burn. They're the 6 on the shortlist. I say Will Dean's my pick. It's the only one of those I've read. But there we go.
I've not read any, so I can't really say one way or the other.
So my pick would be LEG, just because she's been on so many times before and
Yeah, absolutely. If you could pick your crime novel of the year, guys, from books you have read, which one would you want to see up there this year in the running?
I can tell you the series I've been reading and really enjoying recently, but I don't think they were written this year.
That's fine. We've got very lax rules in the
Okay,
pretend.
I have been reading and really enjoying the Jack Gatland DCI Walsh series, written by, his real name's Tony Lee, and I've been really enjoying those. Very twisty.
Excellent stuff. And Caz, what about you? What other than mine and Andrew's, which book would you be putting up for
My so two of my top reads of the year so far have been The Botanist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But he doesn't really need to win any more awards, does he? And,
I think he made the long list, but didn't make the short list on this one actually. Yeah.
and also Dead Rich by William Shaw. Very big fan.
I've not read that one yet, but I have heard good things about it. Yeah. And Andrew, as an author yourself, do awards matter to you as an author? Are they something? Do you enter into many awards? Because obviously you put yourself into them. Is it something you ever think about?
I think it's a very every author will have a different opinion on this. Personally, it is not something I strive for. It's lovely to get recognised. Anytime you get recognised, even if it's just a fan saying "I loved your book," it is lovely to have that happen. It is not something that is, I'm striving for by any stretch of imagination. I'm purely trying to just write, good, solid stories.
Yeah.
But I mean, if anyone wants to give me an award, then by all means, I'll accept that gratefully.
You've got you've got the speech. You're ready to go.
Well, I'll just say thank you and walk off.
Yeah. And Caz, as a reader, do awards make you think this is a book that I need to go and read? Does it have that impact on you, or is it something that sometimes just perhaps doesn't matter so much to a reader per se?
I don't think they do. They often have the opposite effect on me, because generally the prize-winning books I've read have not been things I've enjoyed so much.
That's interesting. I did read an award-winning book this year, Rachel McLean's Call of Castle Murders, which was excellent. Really enjoyed that. And I will say that the award probably made me read it sooner than I possibly would have done. So that's possibly, has it probably has a similar effect on some readers, but
yeah. I think
it does. I've read Booker Prize winners because they've won the Booker Prize.
Yeah. I think there's different awards, aren't there? That some are obviously voted for by the public, some are voted for by juries. What stock do you put into a jury award? What stock do you put into the public award? I think everyone takes their own personal sort of read on, what that award is going to mean to them, and some people will be put off by it, and some people will be intrigued by it, and perhaps especially within a crime genre, I think it perhaps can be a little bit different. There's been an interesting discourse on Twitter today actually about the amount of serial books that continue to appear in certain awards categories, and is it just the continuation of that serial that continues, that means that they keep appearing year after year after year, or should we be looking for new fresh voices? And I think there's obviously a great conversation to be had around that as well. The last book I read that I bought because it was in an award was Pine by Francine Toon, and that is one of the best and most original crime books I've read in years. It was a fantastic read. Thoroughly enjoyed it. But as you say, sometimes you read books in awards that aren't so great. And yeah, great, excellent. We shall move on now, though, to round 3, which is called Glastonbury. Yes, no festival theme is complete without a nod to Worthy Farm, where I recently went and walked over 100 kilometres, according to my phone, which is frankly ridiculous. So we have here 5 headliners on 5 different stages. And they're not just single acts, by the way. They're 4 acts that have come together to play some of their biggest hits in a medley as a tribute to a famous novel. That's the theme that Michael Eavis decided that he was going to go for this year at Glastonbury. Now, the clue might be in the band, or it might be in the name of the song. So pay attention to both. But each clue will reveal a little bit about the novel. And I just need you to put the 4 clues together and tell me what novel these 4 bands have got together to sing about. They are not all crime novels. Are there any crime novels? There's one crime novel in there. So yeah, 4.
So is it 4 separate books? Is what you're saying?
There's 5. There's 5 questions coming up. There'll be 4 bands in each question, singing 4 songs. The band and the song might be the clue to the book. So put the 4 together, and you'll find the clue. So we'll begin over on the other stage, which is where you should always begin Glastonbury. And these are the 4 bands and 4 songs that make up a book title. So we have Bon Jovi singing 99 in the Shade. It's the best Bon Jovi song ever. 50 Cent with In Da Club. Babylon by David Gray. And Master and Servant by Depeche Mode. In there somewhere is a book. Hiding in plain sight. They're singing together about a book. So
Can you repeat those, please?
Of course I can. We have 99 in the Shade by Bon Jovi. In the Club by 50 Cent. Babylon by David Gray. And Master and Servant by Depeche Mode. Put those all together, and what book have we got? Thanks, Donna. Donna's just said it was brilliant. Donna's never been nice about my quiz before.
Donna's only saying that because she's not here having to try and figure it out.
She's there trying to work it out. Donna has never been nice about the quiz before. I am taking this moment. Now, she's only doing that because we said we'll have her on. That's right, isn't it? You just want to come on now.
My guess is a complete shot in the dark. I mean, brilliant question.
I think Sam's got it as well. She says, haven't read it. Brilliant question.
How already have you got this?
Meanwhile, over at the Park stage, another great stage, usually one of the best stages at Glastonbury, without doubt. Pride by U2. And then Tony Bennett's come on and he's singing Fly Me to the Moon. Next, it's the Proclaimers and they're doing Let's Get Married. And finally, Destiny's Child is singing about independent women or independent woman.
Oh.
So we'll repeat that one. That one's like, oh, Andrew's like,
I think I know the book and I can't think of its title.
Well, we'll go for it again. U2 singing Pride in the Name of Love. Tony Bennett singing Fly Me to the Moon. The Proclaimers singing Let's Get Married. And Destiny's Child with Independent Woman. Oh, Sam's lost it on this one. And there might be clues to the title. There might be clues to the plot. Question number 3. We're over on the West Holt stage now, where Jefferson Airplane are singing White Rabbit. Followed up by New World singing Living Next Door to Alice. Then it's the Yeah Yeah Yeahs singing Heads Will Roll. And finally Nat King Cole with Smile. I reckon that's the easiest one. The dog knows.
Yeah.
So again, question 3. You've got White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane. Living Next Door to Alice by New World. Heads Will Roll by the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. And Smile by Nat King Cole. Genius. I'm gonna use that on the promotional material for the quiz when we do UKCBC live. Genius. Question number 4. Obviously, no trip to Glasgow is complete without disappearing down the rabbit hole. And where we have Tattoo. Oh no, yeah, Tattoo singing All the Things She Said. Remember them, Russian band. Believer by Imagine Dragons. Run the World by Beyonce. and Lush Life by Zara Larsson. What book are they singing about there together? So, number 4, All the Things She Said by Tattoo, Believer by Imagine Dragons, Run the World by Beyonce, and Lush Life by Zara Larsson. And finally, come Sunday, legs weary, we amble over to the pyramid stage for the legend slot, and we're setting up camp there for the rest of the day. First up, Ramble On by Led Zeppelin. Then it's Johnny Cash with Ring of Fire, followed by Short People by Randy Newman. And rounding us off, it's The Shires with My Universe. I think that was really easy. On the pyramid stage again.
Can you go back through question 1 and 2? I feel like I've kind of hit the groove with it a little.
Yeah. So question 5, I'll just repeat question 5, then we'll do 1 and 2 again.
Yeah.
So question 5 was Ramble On by Led Zeppelin, Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash, Short People by Randy Newman, My Universe by The Shires. So let's rewind in time. We're on the BBC iPlayer now, watching the footage back after we've got back from the festival. We've had a shower. We don't smell anymore. So number 1 was 99 in the Shade by Bon Jovi, In the Club by 50 Cent, Babylon by David Gray, and Master and Servant by Depeche Mode. Number 2 was Pride by U2, Fly Me to the Moon by Tony Bennett, Let's Get Married by the Proclaimers, and Independent Woman by Destiny's Child. And I'll probably show you my working out as how I came to all of these notions when we do the answers. What I do,
Okay.
Andrew, do you ever sort of soundtrack your work, either when you're writing? Do you have something that you listen to, or do you sit there and think, well, this would be a good soundtrack to read the book to? Is that something you ever?
I do listen to music when I write, and I'll often have playlists depending on what I write.
Mm-hmm.
With the crime stuff, I've got a playlist. I can't listen to anything with lyrics. It has to be instrumental because it'll pull me out. Then I can't write. But I've got I use Spotify, and I've got a playlist of kind of dark, moody, kind of instrumental, orchestral kind of
Post-rocky sort of.
No, it's kind of more. It's more orchestral, more classical in that regard, but it's themed around kind of almost horror-ish stuff. So it's quite moody, but very melodic, almost calming stuff. So it's kind of think of it as like a horror soundtrack that you'd hear on a film, but a low key kind of creepy, and that's works quite well for the crime stuff. But I mean, I have written under my other pen name, for instance, I've written a post-apocalyptic series, and for that I was listening to the Mad Max Fury Road soundtrack.
Excellent stuff. Great choice.
So for different things, I will listen to different musics to get me in the headspace.
Yeah. And do you ever think about what people should listen to while reading your books, or do you feel that should be what you've listened to while you're writing it?
It's more about getting me into the headspace, really, so that I, it just puts me in the mood, gets me kind of. And it needs to be something that doesn't pull me out of it either. It can't be anything too jarring, because that's not helpful.
No, absolutely not. And Caz, as a reader, do you like to listen to music while you're reading, or do you need to be immersed in the moment with the book?
I need to be immersed in the moment with the book.
Yeah. Do you ever sort of soundtrack a book in your head while you're reading it? Do you ever get that coming into you, or is that just not something that crosses the mind? It's just the book.
It's not something that crosses my mind, and I love music. I'm very like theme tracks to my everyday life. Not
Yeah, I was going to say, we've talked a lot about music, obviously behind the scene. I know it's a big deal for you, so it is interesting to know when people can switch on. I think for me, I'm probably like both of you. I have to have music when I'm writing, but I can't have music when I'm reading. I think there's that separation. Although I also do create playlists for people to listen to while they're reading, which are on Spotify. Yeah, it's everyone's choice, isn't it? Right. Is anyone feeling like they've got some answers for this round?
I'm less certain on the first two.
Well, we'll give it
I'm more certain on the last three.
Let's give it a whirl. There's a few people who have seemed to have done well. Laura Hamilton says she's not done so well because she smacked off her face on Piriton. We've all been there. Right, let's get some answers, shall we? So over on the other stage, we had Bon Jovi, 50 Cent, David Gray, and Depeche Mode. What book were they singing about, guys?
I've got two written down.
That's hedging your bets.
It is, yeah. Okay, I'll pick one, but I'll give you the other one.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, so my number one choice, I'm going to go for Great Gatsby.
Okay.
But my second choice, and I think this is a book as well as a film, Master and Commander at the Far Side of the World.
Okay, interesting. Caz?
I had no idea. I wrote Harry Potter Goes Clubbing.
Wow. Let's go through the working out. We had 99 in the Shade by Bon Jovi, so Shade. In the Club by 50 Cent, 50. Babylon by David Gray, I think you know where we're going. And Master and Servant, which is all about bondage and discipline lifestyles. Yes, it is.
50 Shades of Grey.
Grey. Yes. So no points, nil point, either side down. So over on the Park stage, we had Pride by U2, Tony Bennett with Fly Me to the Moon, Let's Get Married by the Proclaimers, Independent Woman by Destiny's Child. Looked like he had at least the formation of an idea, Andrew. So I am going to.
I can't remember the name of the book,
and
even if it is a book, but I think it is, and it was again made into a film. Which there's I know there's definitely a film, and I think there's a book about the black women in NASA that got people to the moon. Is it that?
It is not. No, unfortunately, no. I see where you came from with the Fly Me to the Moon. Caz, did you have an idea?
I wrote Paddington and the Independent Women.
Which is actually Paddington 4, but they've not released it yet. No. So let's go through the working out again. So U2 was singing Pride in the Name of Love. Fly Me to the Moon by Tony Bennett. Let's Get Married, which is a plot point in this story. And Independent Woman, which again is a plot point in this story. Indeed, Samantha Brownlee, you are correct. It is Pride and Prejudice. Elizabeth Bennet, who the Bennets are all being married off. Let's get married. But she is an independent woman, so she doesn't want to get married. But at least somebody's getting them right. Laura Hamilton, smacked off your face on Piriton, still got them right as well. Well done, guys. Pardon?
I'm saying she should have won the coin toss.
Yeah. Question 3. This one was an easy one.
Yeah.
So you both got this right. Yeah, come on.
Alice in Wonderland.
Yes, indeed it was. Yes, White Rabbit by Jefferson Airplane, which is completely about the song and also about drugs. Living Next Door to Alice by New World. Heads Will Roll, Off with the Heads. And Smile, like their Cheshire Cats smile. Yeah.
Caz?
Caz, did you get that right? Yeah?
No.
No? What did you get?
Rabbit Hole.
Which is the stage that we're on the 4th stage. But no, Alice in Wonderland. Living Next Door to... Did you not get that? Oh, Caz, never mind. Over on the 4th one, did anyone have an idea what tattoo Imagine Dragons, Beyonce and Zara Larsson singing? Go on then, Andrew.
Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Any advance, Caz?
I wrote The Hungry Caterpillar, so no.
It was the girl with the dragon tattoo. The Hungry Caterpillar. Okay. All the things she said by Tattoo. Believer by Imagine Dragons. Who runs the world? Girls. And Lush Life by Zara Larsson, Stig Larsson. Yes, it's the girl with the dragon tattoo. Finally, on the pyramid stage, we had Led Zeppelin's Ramble On, Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash, Short People by Randy Newman, and My Universe by The Shires. That's easy, isn't it? Please let it be easy.
Come on,
I
Caz.
actually have a sensible answer for this, but I have a silly answer too.
Go on.
So my silly answer was Sam's untitled novel because she's tiny.
Yep, that's fair.
And then my actual answer is Lord of the Rings.
Same here.
Yep, I would accept any Lord of the Rings Hobbit spin-off, although I was looking for Lord of the Rings because Ramble On is about Lord of the Rings, Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash, Short People, They're Hobbits by Randy Newman, and My Universe by The Shires. Yes, Lord of the Rings. Speaking of Lord of the Rings, we've got our very own Legolas with us today. Archery is your thing, isn't it, Andrew?
One of. Yeah, I enjoy a bit of archery. I don't do a lot of it, but I do love doing it.
It's pulling a bow and arrow is one of the hardest things I've ever tried to do. It's not easy.
No, I don't know. I mean, I don't profess to be brilliant at it by any stretch of the imagination. But
Well,
I don't know. There's just something I really enjoy about, sling a few arrows down the garden. It's just a lot of fun.
See, I'm genuinely impressed by anyone who's fired a bow and arrow more than 10 times and still has two eyes, because how? It looks really easy. It looks like the easiest thing in the world, and then you try and do it, and it's quite a skill, to be fair.
Yeah, I suppose it is. Yeah, I mean, you have to hold it right and aim, properly, and it's about repeating the same movement again and again and again for consistency. And yeah, it's. I suppose there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. It looks easy, but it's not.
Now, say you do it up and down the garden. Do the neighbours have a nickname for you now? Are they
not to my knowledge. I have retrieved arrows from neighbouring gardens. Yeah.
You just point it at the neighbours that you don't like, and
I try. I do my best.
the ones with the cats that foul in your garden.
Occasionally, I let the kids have a go, and I'm, the target is very close to them. But sometimes they just pull it back a bit too far, and it hits something and goes flying off. So you got to be careful.
I'm sure you do. Hey, Caz, what's your special weapon skill?
My special weapon skill?
Well, you're a bit of a pyromaniac, aren't you?
I am a bit of a pyromaniac, but I wouldn't say it's a special weapon skill.
Well, I would think if we combine the two of you together here, I mean,
flaming arrows.
Yeah,
we do some
Braveheart. That could be that could be quite a deadly combination. So yeah, if ever I've got myself into some sort of medieval conflict, you two are the first two that I'm calling.
I have your atmospheric recipe as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It would look amazing, wouldn't it? It would look absolutely amazing. Right, we're moving on to round 4 because I'm well aware that we're going very slowly today. That's my fault. Round 4 is the comedy festival. Now, last month as a group, we were all shocked and saddened by the untimely passing of David Monaghan Jones, one of our more prolific contributors and author members, whose constant comic interventions lifted spirits in the group. An especially important thing given the current state of the world. David's infectious sense of fun meant that he was well known and well loved by our members, even if some of the punchline might have caused, by his own admission, the odd eye roll. In honour of David and the joy he brought, this is the Comedy Festival round. I've got 5 questions here, all of which I'd like you to answer with the punchline to the joke. And this is all in honour of David. So, question number 1. What 2 things can you never eat for breakfast? What 2 things can you never eat for breakfast? Don has asked, what's my super weapon skill? My acerbic wit. Which actually, probably gets me in more trouble than it should do. Question 1 again. What 2 things can you never eat for breakfast? Question 2. What is the name of my dog? Question 2 again. What is the name of my dog?
Did you get these from Mojo Jojo's actual jokes?
No. I did not. I perhaps should have done that. That would have been nice, wouldn't it? No, these are all. Some of them are Ben Bruce originals that I use a lot. Some of them were stolen from Shooting Stars. Some of them were stolen off the internet.
I'm going to tell you what we tell our kids, that if we can't work out the punchline or we have to explain it, it's not actually a joke.
Well, that's true, but these are all hilarious. Where does a general keep his armies? Question 3 again. Where does a general keep his armies? Question 4. What's the best thing about Switzerland? Question 4. What's the best thing about Switzerland? And finally, question 5. What do you call a blind dinosaur? Question 5 again. What do you call a blind dinosaur? Right, guys, I'm going to throw you on the spot here. Probably should have prepped you on this one. What's the best joke in the world? What's the best joke that you can tell on here right now that won't get us in loads of trouble?
2 fish in this tank, and one turns to the other and says, "How do you drive this thing?"
Love it. Kaz, any advances on that?
How'd you get Pikachu on a bus?
I don't know.
Your Pokemon.
Hey! I'll definitely be using that one on my son tomorrow. That's a given. He'll appreciate that one. We will quickly get on to the answers because I'm conscious of the time. So yeah, what 2 things can you never eat for breakfast here, guys?
Lunch and dinner.
You're absolutely right. Lunch and dinner, you can never eat those for breakfast. Question 2, what is the name of my dog?
What?
It's not a question, it's a statement. One of my favourite jokes of all time. Question 3, where does a general keep his armies?
Up his sleeveys.
There you go. Look, you're loving this one. Question 4, what's the best thing about Switzerland?
Chocolate.
The flag is a big plus. And finally, what do you call a blind dinosaur?
Well, I'll go one up on this. What do you call a blind dinosaur's dog?
Yeah, Dithinkysaurus Rex.
Yes.
Dithinkysaurus was the answer I was looking for. Yeah. Before we get into the last round, let's quickly check the scores on the doors, please, kids.
This may be the first time I never make double figures. I've got 7 2/3.
7 and 2. It's the first time we've had a 2/3 score, that's for sure.
8.
8. It's going well there. Excellent stuff. Well, it's nice and close with a third of a point between them. And I don't think it's now possible for us to have a tie, but you never know. General knowledge. Really sorry about this one, guys. It's still festival theme this month, which at the time was a great idea. But as I explained to you before, I've had a really manic sort of 2 weeks. And in hindsight, the more I read this round, it was a terrible idea. I've delved into the weirdest corners of the world to find 5 out there festivals. I'm going to tell you the name of the festival. You've got to guess what country it's from. Really sorry about that. Really sorry. Simple as that.
Guess the country.
Guess the country from the name. The first one's pretty easy. El Colacho, or the Baby Jumping Festival. In which country would you find El Colacho? Sam Brownlee's on 11 points. So I drunk when I wrote this one. I haven't been drunk in a long time, Sam. And I think that's half the problem. I'm literally not. I'm not sorry. I've never been sorry in my life. Thanks, Donna. Question 1 again. El Colacho, or the Baby Jumping Festival. Yes, this is a thing. It's from which country? Question 2. International Hair Freezing Contest. It's a festival, and it's an English name, so it's an English-speaking country. I'm going to help you guys on a cold one. Happens in which country? The International Hair Freezing Contest. Think of a cold English-speaking country. Question 3. The Underwater Music Festival. Yes, it's a thing. Happens in which country? The Underwater Music Festival. Where? Where would something so absolutely... And do you know what? Actually, I'm looking at this, and it's quite obvious where it is when you think, where would something so absolutely ridiculous be a thing? And then you hear the answer, and you go, yes, of course it is. Question 4, and I apologise for the pronunciation. Roqueto Polemos takes place in which country? Roqueto Polemos.
Do we know what happens at it?
Yeah, it's called the English translation is Rocket Festival.
That sounds like the kind of festival I can get behind.
Well, I mean, I'll explain to you shortly what it's all about, and it sounds amazing. And finally, if you thought my pronunciation in the last round was terrible, Kaliekalunta, that might be right. Kaliekalunta, beer floating, is a festival in which country? Kaliekalunta. Again, Donna, you're right. It turns out you are right. I'm not a little bit sorry. Talking of festivals, Caz,
Yeah.
let's talk UKCBC Live, which we briefly sort of mentioned in this group. Can you tell anyone a little bit more about what's being planned here?
We are planning a really good get-together of all the members and authors, or as many as we can fit into the Carriage Works in Leeds on the 6th of May 2023.
And what sort of things can we look forward to when we turn up?
Gonna have panels and author signings, and there might even be a live version of the quiz.
There may well be. Yes, there may well be. Have we got any? I don't think we can announce any authors yet, can we? We can't. No, it's not confirmed.
Well, they are confirmed, but we've not decided when we're announcing them.
Exactly. I didn't know if we get an exclusive there.
It's very good.
Yeah, it is very good. Pushing for an exclusive, but we didn't get one. You can't get blood from a stone. No, it is very good, and there will be the opportunity to meet these authors, signings, as you say. There will be merch stalls, won't there? Do we have any idea when we're planning perhaps to release tickets?
Do we? We're having a meeting very soon to decide that, aren't we?
Oh, are we? Yeah, well, I'm not. It's been 2 weeks of like absolute chaos, so I don't know what's been going on. So yeah, you can see how much I've paid attention recently in the group chat. Excellent stuff. Sam's trying to go by my accent when asking the questions. It's not going well. Well, I mean, I've been to one of the countries where I had to say two of the countries where I had to do the accent, but not the third one. Anyway, yes. So should we get some answers before we delve into the last part of the quiz, the scores and stuff? El Colacho. I mean, that sounds obvious, like we could guess where that was from.
Mexico?
It was more obvious.
I said Spain.
Yeah, it was that obvious.
Oh.
Yeah, Castrillo de Murcia in Spain. 60 days after Easter, during the feast of Corpus Christi, men dressed as devils jump over babies on pillows in the street.
See, my teacher brain is just thinking that this is a massive safeguarding problem.
I mean, so far there have been no injuries. I have looked into this. So far there have been no injuries, no complaints, no babies have been hurt during the running of this festival. But as with any Spanish festival, it's only a matter of time before they do love an absolutely mad festival. And when researching this round, most of the festivals were Spanish. If it's a way you can get gored or trampled or have somebody taking a poo in the middle of... Oh, we've lost Andrew. We've lost Andrew. Or you can have someone taking a poo in the middle of the nativity. The Spanish will do it. we'll wait and see if we can get Andrew back. Let's see if we can get him. See if he's coming back.
I'll message him and see if he's.
I was just going to email him.
That might be better.
What, me emailing him?
Yeah, he's here. You don't need to.
That was quick. That was good. We'll just get him back on screen.
Hey,
Don't mess up your screen.
you were still there. I could hear you.
I don't know what happened there.
My face just disappeared off the screen, but I was still here. I could still hear.
You were still part of the world.
Yes.
Excellent stuff. We've waited for you. Obviously, you know that. So, question 2: the International Hair Freezing Contest. Where would they do such a crazy and silly thing?
Canada.
They would do it in Canada, yes, a cold English-speaking country. There is really only one. Yes, in the Yukon, Canada. It happens every February at Takini Hot Pool. They dunk their heads into the hot water and then lift them up and create frosty hairdos before they freeze in the minus 30-degree cold air. You can win some money for the best, so it's all good. The Underwater Musical Festival. Again, it's English-speaking. Where is just, the craziest place in the English-speaking language?
Oh, now you got me thinking. Now you said it's
I
English.
wouldn't go with the English-speaking language.
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia.
Because I put Italy, but obviously it's not that.
No, obviously the craziest place that speaks English is Florida. Yes, Florida, USC, the Lou Key Reef. It's actually to prevent environmental sustainability. It been happening for the last 31 years. Sponsored by a local radio station. They play music underwater on special speakers, and participants dive in costumes and play instruments to win a prize. And they do this every year to raise concerns about the environment. Requeto Polemos, which does sound kind of Spanish, but isn't. The Rocket Festival. What country is that from?
Portugal.
Not Portugal. Kaz, did you have a guess?
I said Finland because I felt like a rocket festival was something that Finnish people could get behind.
It's not Finland, it's Greece. 2 rival church congregations in the town. I didn't write down the name of the town. Yes, I did. Vrontados perform a rocket war by firing tens of thousands of homemade rockets across the town with the objective of hitting the rival bell tower of the church on the opposite side. The origin of the event is unclear, but until 1889, they actually used cannons. And at which point the Ottoman Empire steps in and said, that's a bad idea, just use rockets. But yes, for hundreds of years, they used actual cannons to knock down each other's church, and they do this every year. Because why not? And finally, Lunta. Did anyone have a guess?
Brazil.
It's not Brazil.
Kaz,
unless you guessed Finland twice, you're going to be wrong.
Yeah, I said Iceland because I couldn't guess Finland.
Yeah, you should have guessed Finland because it's Finland. Beer floating, which is an unofficial festival run since 1997, where participants get into small rubber boats with only paddles and lots of beer and follow the Vanta River from Vanta to the beach in Helsinki. Yes, they just float along the river drinking beer. Up to 5,000 people participate in this festival every year. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of the quiz. You'll be relieved to know. So top up your scores. While you're doing so, Andrew, let's talk about your next projects. What's coming next?
My current book, I suppose. So yes, starting a new series. It's the DCI Locksley, Detective Locksley, Nottinghamshire crime thriller series. Book 1 is In Bad Faith, it's called. And I'm literally 3 chapters off finishing it before handing it off to the editors and that kind of thing.
Now, you say this is a spin-off from the DCI Pilgrim series. So how much stylistically are we talking? Is it a similar sort of vein or?
I suppose it's a spin-off only in that the main character is briefly mentioned in the Pilgrim books. And so there is a link between them, but you do not need to have read the Pilgrim series to read them. And I've completely forgotten your question.
So stylistically, is it similar?
Yes. So I suppose it is. It is probably similar in broadly similar. It's a police procedural. You know, team of detectives hunting down some nasty people. But yeah, I mean, I've basically taken what I've learned through, you know, the previous books and that kind of thing, and you know, taken on board certain criticisms and that kind of thing, and tried to apply it to the new series. And yeah, just tried to, you know, create something, you know, engaging, and that hopefully people will enjoy. It's certainly one of the biggest, probably it is the biggest crime book I've written to date. It's
in terms of,
meaty tone.
yeah, in terms of, are we talking in terms of content, or are we talking in terms of length, or what?
I suppose both. I mean, there's more complexity. There's more, you know, different threads of plot kind of weaving together, and also it is a longer book than these are. So it'll be thicker as well. So
Carolyn Mills says, "I hope this doesn't mean the end of Pilgrim."
No, I suppose it's not necessarily. I mean, book 6 wrapped up certain plot threads that had been running through the 6 books. But ironically, you know, immediately as I started plotting and going into this new series, I immediately had ideas for, you know, the Pilgrim books. You know, that's sod's law. That's just the way my mind works. So absolutely, I may well go back. You know, it is entirely possible that I will go back and write more Pilgrim. But you'll be pleased to know that when you do read this first book of the new series, John shows up, so he is there at one point in the book. So fans will probably be like, "Yay, he's there!" So.
But it certainly sounds like there's clamour for more in that sense. So hopefully that Carolyn it keeps you happy. And at the end of the day, I'm sure that the new I don't want to say the new angle that you're branching out into will keep those fans happy as well. Guys, let's hear some scores. I'm just going to turn down this light if I can, because the light has changed drastically in this room, and now I look like one of these. That's better. Scores, guys. What did we rack up today? The highest score I've seen on the chat is 13. The lowest is 0. I think you both surpassed that, so you're doing all right. Yeah, scores.
Who wants to go first?
I'm gonna ask Caz to go first.
I got 9 2/3.
9 2/3.
She pipped me to the post. I got 9.
9. There's a 14 just coming from Arga. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for playing along with me today, and also thank you so much to everyone from viewing at home. Of course, if you want to find out more about Andrew's work, you can go to lfraineauthor.co.uk, where you can, of course, get that free short story that we mentioned earlier. And that should absolutely inspire you to go out and buy the box set, which I believe is available on Amazon. Am I correct? You can buy everything all in one go.
Or the individual books.
No excuses. And of course, Caz, you don't write books, so we can't flog your books on here. But of course, you can buy tickets for Caz's UKCBC Live as soon as they're available, which is not going to tell us when. Apparently, we haven't talked about that, and I didn't know.
Buy our amazing.
Buy some pens, buy some pens, buy some tote bags, all sorts. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much at home. Thank you to Caz. Thank you to Andrew Bell, L Fraine. I've been Ben Bruce, and yeah, I will be next month as well, hopefully. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.